Hello everyone, welcome back to the next video. In this video I will show you how to autofill OTPs from SMS using the SMS Retriever API by creating an Android plugin for the Godot Game Engine. So firstly, let's have a look at the documentation. Now I have already made a video, so there are two ways to autofill OTPs. Like I have already made a video about this way, like the user consent API. So if you see, go through this documentation, like the user will presented with this pop-up dialog, and if he clicks on allow, the OTP will be automatically populated. So I have already made a video about this, but in this video we will be looking into the SMS Retriever API. So in the SMS Retriever API, the user does not have to press any pop-up. It will be automatically filled inside the text box which we have, and but this requires passing like knowing your app hash, which I will talk more about later, and we need to give our backend the app hash as well. Now for backend side I am using NodeJS JavaScript, and for sending SMS I am using Twilio. Now the advantage of using Twilio, again this is not a paid sponsor as such. The advantage of using Twilio for me at least is I don't have to register my credit card or debit card. I can use it freely. I can use the free credits and it works perfectly fine for me. So yeah, let's get started. First let me show you guys the output first. Okay, so the very first thing which I have done is that I have blurred the output. I will show you the output in a bit, but why I have blurred it, because at the very start I am displaying a pop-up using an Android API which displays the user's phone number. So if you are like me, if you are using multiple SIM cards in your phone number, the user does not have to type his mobile number out. He can type it, but I think a better approach, which the documentation also says, is to use the hint request API. Like it will display this particular model and the user can pick a number. So what I will do is that from this particular model I will pick a number, and now that number is populated inside my edit text. Okay, now that the number is populated, again I am using this secret text. This is an edit text from Godot itself. I think it is called line edit, which has a property called secret, so that no one can see what you have typed. So I have selected my mobile number, and this is actually my mobile number, not a password. It's just because I don't want to show my mobile number to anyone. That's why I have used this secret text. Now the other thing is this, what text you see at the top, that is app hash. I will talk more about it later. That is you don't need to display the app hash, it is just for your understanding. I have displayed it. Now what I will do is that I will call this click on this get OTP button. It will start the SMS Retriever API. It also called my backend API. My backend API will call Twilio API, and here you can see I have received the SMS and it has automatically pre-populated that OTP inside my text box. And if I click on verify OTP, I am sending the OTP as well as the phone number back to my backend API, and given that I have entered the correct API, it is saying true. Suppose if I click on get OTP again, okay, let's see what it says. Okay, here is the new OTP, but I will change it just so that you guys know. I'll click on verify OTP again, and now I'm okay. I don't know why I'm getting true. I should have got false. Okay, I'm getting false now. I don't know what the true was. Maybe it was a toast message from the previous instant. Let's try one more time. I'll click on get OTP. It has started the retriever. Okay, it is called my backend API. My backend API is called Twilio API. It has popped up that SMS message. Okay, I have been displaying a lot of toast messages. Again, that's just for my debugging purpose. Now what I'll do is that I'll just quickly change this to 3, I guess. Let's see. True. Why is it giving true? Okay, maybe I hard coded that value. Data.success. I don't know why it is giving true. Okay, let me quickly check and come back. Okay guys, so I have fixed the output. So here is the OTP, here is my mobile number. I'll just click on verify OTP. I have fixed the code, and so here you can see that I am getting this true because I have entered the right OTP. I'll click on get OTP again. just to show you the procedure from the very start. This is the OTP, and here you can see I have received the message as well. I'm just like connected via Wi-Fi, that's why the output is little slow on my device. Now if I click on verify OTP, it should be correct because I have entered the right OTP, right? So here you can see I'm getting true. I'll again click on get OTP, and it should give me a different OTP should get populated inside our text field automatically. So as you can see over here, but I will change it from 9 to 2, something like this. And now I'll click on verify OTP, and it should give me false. So yeah, here you can see, hopefully you got the point. Now let's have a look at the code. So firstly I will open VS Code. Make sure you already have created your Twilio account or registered for it. I have already done it. Like I told you, I'm using Node.js on the backend side. So firstly I will explain you guys the backend. So for Node.js, first you have to create this package.json file. So I have created a folder called backend. Inside that I have created this package.json file, and I have installed few dependencies. First is this .env. So all my secrets are in this .env file, which I'm not going to show you, but I will tell you how to extract secrets from Twilio. Next is Express. So this helps us to create REST API endpoints quickly. And last is Twilio dependency to send SMS and verify SMS. Next, once you do that, you just have to run npm install. Obviously Node.js requires you need to have Node.js installed. So once you have done that, you just cd to your backend directory or whatever folder you have given inside your terminal, and just run npm install. It will download all the dependencies for you. So it will create this packaged log.json file as well as this node modules folder. Also I have added this two inside our scripts, these two commands. So if you want to run this project, you have to run npm run dev or npm run start, but make sure it won't automatically reload if your code changes. If you want automatic restart, then you can install nodemon, but I don't want to go into that. So here I have created a file called SMS verify.js. Now this file has been copy pasted from the documentation itself. So if you want, you can go to this particular URL, but be careful with this because the code in this particular URL is some of it is deprecated and won't work, but I will show you what exactly you need to change. So firstly you can copy paste all this code which is present in the documentation over here. So that's what I have done over here. So this is the SMS verify. Okay, so here you have to change this. You have to write this v2 over here, otherwise you will get error. And so this is for getting this E164 number. So it basically looks up our number, whether that is correct or not. Okay, and here we are using it over here. So this is called for requesting the OTP. And also make sure you add v2 over here. Again, that is not present in the GitHub repo which I have just shown you, or the GitHub code which I have just shown you. And here you can see we are just passing our formatted number. Channel is SMS. This is hash, which again I will come back to later on. And this is called the verify. This is the verify message which you see over here. Okay. All right. Next, this is for verifying the OTP. So here I'm just adding a regex, but this actually I have named it poorly. Like here I'm not passing the entire message, I'm only passing the OTP from Godot side. So I don't think this regular expression is necessary, but yeah, I have kept it. Also make sure you add v2 over here because that is again not present in the GitHub repo code which I have just shown you. So again I have just copy pasted it. I'm not really using this reset functionality, but if you want you can use it. Next you will have to create a file called index.js. Now firstly okay, so first we have loaded our .env, then we are importing Twilio as well as Express and this SMS verify.js file which I have created. Then this is boilerplate code which you have to write for expressjs, so just do it. And then we create a Twilio account, sorry, not Twilio accounts, a Twilio constructor. So Twilio client we create. Now you require this API key as well as API secret, right? So firstly, to get the API key and API secret, you will have to go to this particular URL. You will see a button called create API key. Just click on it. Key type you can keep it as standard, and important to note is I will show you one screenshot as well, don't worry. Just follow what I'm trying to say. Important to notice here, you will see this Twilio API key, which is the SID, okay, in your screen, and it is not the friendly API key name which you have just entered. And so here I'm just saying not to be confused with Twilio account SID or verification SID. So these are two different things. So I'll quickly show you the screenshot. So here you can see this is how it will look like. So this SID which you see is your actual Twilio API key, and the secret which you see is your Twilio API secret. So if you are not creating, if you are not using this .env, you can directly paste your Twilio API key over here and Twilio API secret over here. So again, this is SID is your Twilio API key, secret is your Twilio API secret. This friendly name is just for your reference, so you don't have to worry too much about it. Then let's come back to our code inside index.js. So here again I have created another API endpoint. So this will get called from our native Android plugin side. You can call it from the Godot code as well, but I'm more comfortable on native Android side. That's why I'm making the API call from native Android side as well. So this is one of the API endpoint which takes a phone number, and from that phone number I'm extracting the country code. So you will have to pass the country code along with the phone number as well. So the model which I blurred in my output gives you the country code as well, so you don't have to worry too much about it, about getting the country code. That's why I show the model so that the user does not have to type the mobile number manually. And then we create this SMS verify. Here we pass our Twilio client. This is our app hash. Keep it empty for now, don't copy my app hash. I will tell you how to get the app hash later on. Then this is our verification service SID. Again, this you should get from Twilio. So to get that, you can go to this particular URL. It will tell you how you can get the verification service SID. Again, I'll show you the screenshot as well. So here you can see I had two verification service SID. I don't know why, but just copy any one of this and just put it inside your env variable. So yeah, that's what I did over here. And this is our country code. And if phone number is empty, then I'm just returning an error. Otherwise I'm just calling this request method which we had defined inside SMS verify.js, passing our phone number, and here we are just returning success. Okay, if you want you can await this as well. I'm not really awaiting it, but it's up to you. Then here this is another API for verification. So we take the phone number as well as the message, then we extract the country code out of it. Again we create Twilio client. This is our app hash. Again, keep it empty. I'll later on tell you how to get the app hash. And this is the verification service SID, and this is the country code. And here you can see I'm just doing SMS verify.verify, passing our phone number. Again, this is the actual OTP and not the entire message. And here if it is successful, then I'm just sending this particular success equal to true. If failure, I'm sending success equal to false. So you saw that true right inside the toast message, and I'm also sending a message for failure as well. And here we are starting our server. So you just have to run npm run dev, but don't run it now. Once I told you how to get the app hash, then you can run your server. Also one more thing about Twilio account SID, I think that also I'm using, maybe I did forgot. So here is the Twilio account SID. Sorry, I didn't tell you about that. So to get that, you can go to this particular URL. It will tell you how to get the Twilio account SID. Obviously so here is the screenshot. So the part which I have blurred with that green marker or green color is your Twilio account SID. So you can copy paste this Twilio account SID inside your env or directly put it over here. So it's up to you. So yeah, that's it for the backend side. Now coming back to creating a Godot plugin. So I have created this cheat sheet from the Godot documentation itself. So given that we will be creating an Android plugin, obviously you will require Android Studio. So using Android Studio, okay, let me close this. Using Android Studio, I have just created an Android project. You can select any project like an empty views project or a empty compose jetpack compose project. Just create one project using Android Studio. That might take little bit of time, so be patient because it requires all that Gradle syncing, all that stuff. Once your project is created, you will see something like this. You won't see this library, so we have to create this library. You will see app as well as Gradle scripts. You just have to right click new module, Android library, and here you can name it whatever you feel like. I have given the name as my library, and you will just have to click on finish. It is not allowing me to create again because I have already created my library. Just click on finish. Again the Gradle syncing will take place and you should see a folder like this. Then firstly open this, go to Kotlin plus Java, come over here. Now first, like I have mentioned, I'm making all the API calls from the native Android side itself because I'm more comfortable in that. But if you are not comfortable, you can move that API call code to Godot side as well, so it's up to you. So firstly you will have to go to Gradle scripts. At the time of me recording this video, I'm using Godot 4.3.0, so that's the dependency I will be using. So firstly you will have to go to build.gradle.kts of your library. So I will open it over here. So this is the Godot dependency which I have. Okay, these two dependency are for the SMS Retriever API dependency, and this two dependency, this retrofit is for making API call, and this is for converting Kotlin data objects to JSON. That's why we use this libs converter JSON dependency. And this data store preference, I'm using it because we have to start an Android service to listen for messages. Now that takes once you get a message, we need to give that callback from our Android service back to our Godot plugin. I couldn't find a better way. Like in my native Android tutorial, I was using local broadcast manager, but that was deprecated. Then I tried using live data as well, but that I couldn't really figure it out for Godot. Then I tried event bus as well, but that was causing other issues. Then there is one more thing which I tried. I think, yeah, these were the three things which I tried, and later on I just settled for data store preferences. Basically data store preferences is used for storing key value data inside your Android app, but yeah, in this case I'm also using it to send data back from our service to our Godot Android plugin. This is not the right use case, but I couldn't really find any alternative. But yeah, if you have a better alternative, do let me know in the comments. Yeah, so first also one more thing which I want to show you is, next you will have to go to libs.versions.toml, and here you will have to write the actual version number of your library as well as their name, because inside, this is a new thing in newer Android version. Basically you write this kind of stuff inside build.gradle, and the actual name and version number is written inside libs.versions.toml. So like I told you, for data store preferences I'm using this version, but if Android Studio gives you that a new version is available, make sure you use that version. At the time of recording I'm using Godot 4.3.0 stable. Okay, then this play services auth is for SMS Retriever, play services auth API phone as well, and you also have to add this retrofit dependency. So make sure you add this bit of line of code, and then you need to add the Godot dependency as well. Then these two lines, play services auth as well as play services auth API phone, so entire this one. Okay, and then you also need to add this retrofit as well as converter JSON dependency. Then Android Studio will show a button called sync now. So if I do, suppose if I do, so here you can see, you will see this sync now button. I'll just remove this. You will see sync now button, and you just have to click on it, and again it will take little bit of time to download all the Android dependencies for you, so you will also need to do that. I have created this request folder. So first is what our this particular API, I'll go back to our API index. So this expects a phone number, right? This particular get OTP. So here I have created the same thing. So this is how you create input parameters, output parameters for your API in Kotlin with retrofit. So make sure you use the same name what you have defined it, how you are taking it inside your API. So that's why I have taken phone number. Same for verify, it takes a phone number as well as message. That's why we have defined same thing over here. If you look, the phone number as well as message. Then for response as well, so how the response looks like. For get OTP response, we just get a message. So here you can see I just get a message. I ignored the error part. If you want, you can use the error as well, and keep it as optional. But yeah, and this is fine. And here is verify OTP response, so I get a boolean and I might get a message. So this is how you define an optional. Same you can define it for get OTP response as well. But yeah, that's fine. So hopefully you got this why we defined this. Then coming back to this OTP service, so this is how you define an interface on using retrofit. So basically you have to define an interface. This is my API endpoint, right? The base URL I have stored it somewhere else, which I will show you shortly. So the last part of our API, so phone, right? So that's what I have taken it over here. Same for verify as well, the last point which I have taken over here. Now my NodeJS API are hosted on are on localhost. I haven't deployed them on cloud server. So to call it, I am using my IP address. I will later on let you know, but yeah, I haven't deployed my NodeJS to any cloud providers yet. So hopefully you got the point. So here here I have just defined a method called request OTP. It takes an get OTP request, and here I have defined a method called verify OTP, and it takes a verify OTP request, and this is the response for it, this is the response for it. So that what we had defined it inside the request and response folder. So hopefully you got the point. Okay, so hopefully you got this point where I have defined two methods for our two API endpoints, which takes appropriate request and response. Same over here as well. Then I have defined this SMS broadcast receiver. So this is our service. So once we click on verify like get OTP button, I am starting this particular service which continuously listens for messages, and this is I think only for 5 minutes, so it won't be for unlimited amount of time. So you can just copy this imports, extend a broadcast receiver. We have to override this particular method. We have to check whether it is an SMS retriever action. If yes, then we take the extras. Here we get the SMS retriever status. Here is our status code as well, and once it is success, like we have received the message, then we get the actual message from our SMS. I'm just displaying it inside a toast message, and here I am logging it as well. This was just part of my debugging. And here as you can see, I'm saving the message. I have defined this method which I will show you shortly inside our preferences data store, so that we can send it back to the Android to the Godot plugin side, which I will show you shortly. And this is the timeout. So in case if there is any timeout, I'm displaying a toast message, but you can handle it in a better way. So here you can see that I have defined a method called save SMS message. It takes the context as well as a message, and I'm just calling this context.datastore.edit. I'm passing our preferences, so I'm passing this particular key. Same key you will have to use it on Godot Android plugin side as well. So I'm just storing this message inside this preferences data store. But if you have a better way of sending data back to Godot Android plugin from receiver, do let me know in the comments as well. Now coming back to our documentation again, like I want to discuss about app hash. So there are there are multiple ways of getting the app hash for your particular app. So go to this particular URL, and if you go over here, so firstly if I show you my message how I'm getting it from my server, if you see at the very bottom this OKHJ8NYV/OR, that is my app hash. Okay, so that's how my app recognizes this particular message and automatically fills the OTP for me. So that's the tricky part. So now to get the app hash, there are multiple ways. So here are few of the commands. I'm not using this command way, so here this you can go through it. I was little confused because I don't really understand what this certificate is. Deployment certificate .dir, where can I get this? I didn't really understand it, but if you are curious, you can go through this. Now there is another way of getting app hash as well. So using this app signature helper, so I have just opened it inside, and this is the GitHub repo for it. So I have just copy pasted all this code. Now this is a Java file, and what I have done is that I have just created this Java file inside our project, and I have just copy pasted all the code. So if I will just simply scroll through this. Even I really don't understand it. Okay, so just simply scroll through this, and what we will do is that we will call this particular code inside our Godot Android plugin. You just have to call it once, just so that you can get the app hash for your app. Do not call it at dynamically, like Suppose I have deployed it to my Play Store. Do not keep this code inside your plugin. This is not really necessary, and you should not send the app hash from your app to your backend. You should already know your app hash. Okay, so that's what this particular class is for. So again, I'll just simply scroll through this. You can copy paste all the code, or you can just go to that GitHub URL which I have just shown you. It has all the app hash code. So I'm just basically creating object for this particular class inside our Godot Android plugin. I'm getting the app hash, and then I'm just filling it out inside our backend. So if you see over here, I'm just pasting our app hash over here as well as over here. Now I will show you how to call this particular class from our Godot Android plugin as well, so don't worry too much about it. Okay, so I'll simply scroll through this again in case if you have missed it. So this is all the code for it. You can pause it wherever you feel like. And again, this is the code for our SMS broadcast receiver which I have just shown you. Again, I'll simply scroll through this in case if you have missed any code. Okay, now again I'll open my project. So I have shown you this, I have shown you this, I have shown you. Now coming back to our Godot Android plugin. So this is the main file. So firstly, just create a kotlin file called Godot Android plugin, and you can copy paste all these imports which I have. So I will simply scroll through this, all these imports which I have. So you can just copy paste all these imports which I have. Again, sorry, these are all the inside our Godot Android plugin. These are all the dependence imports, sorry. So you can just copy paste all these imports which I have. Okay, there are some dead imports as well which you can ignore. And again, this is the reference. So here is our data store, preferences data store which I have created. And here we are extending from Godot plugin. This is the lifecycle owner because I want to make use of Kotlin coroutines as well. That's why this boilerplate code I have created. And this is for the modal which you see at the top, where the user can at the start, where the user can pick a phone number, right? So for that I am using this. So this particular part is for retrofit, for making our API call. So if you are making API call from Godot side, you can ignore it. Now, like I told you, my Node.js backend is hosted locally, right? I have not deployed it to any server. So you will have to write your own IP address over here. So your IP address will look something like this. And if you remember, our Node.js app is running on port 3000. So it should be http:// whatever is your IP address, and this should be your port number, and followed by /API/. So here you can see I am using something like, so this is where I have stored my base URL. But I don't want to show you my IP address. But if you want, you can you don't need to create this file. You can directly write your IP address over here instead, http:/something. Okay, but hopefully you got the point. And this is our JSON converter factory which I have created, and here we are passing our OTP service interface. So that's it for the API retrofit part. Here we override this method called get plugin name. So this is my plugin name. Do remember this name because we will be using this in lot other places as well. And here we override another method called get plugin signal. So these are all the signals which I'm sending back to Godot side. So one is for app hash, one is for user phone number, one is for OTP, and one is for verifying it. So again, we are overriding this particular method called on Godot setup completed. So here you can see as soon as our app is launched, I'm calling this app signature helper, and I'm sending that app hash back to Godot side. But make sure once you have received the app hash, you need to comment this code. Do not ship this code to production. You don't really need this app hash will only give you the app hash which is required for our backend, which I have written it over here as well as over here. So hopefully you got the point, but I'll keep it uncommented for now. Okay, you can ignore this. So this was one of my trial of sending data from service to and Godot Android plugin. But here you can see now I'm observing the Android preferences data store, and once we get the OTP, OTP, like I'm sending it back to Godot side. Actually we get the entire message. I'm extracting the OTP from that message, which I will show you this particular method in a bit, and I'm sending it back to Godot side. Okay, I'll also show you this particular method as well. Then there is another method. So this method I call as soon as our plugin is initialized on the Godot side, which again I'll show you in a shortly. So this will actually show the pop-up modal which will display all the phone numbers which the user has on his particular device. So the user will pick a phone number instead of them manually typing it. But if you don't want to do this, if you want the users to manually type it, you can do that as well. So here this is the code for automatically displaying the pop-up modal. Now here you can see I'm using the start intent sender for result. Now this is deprecated, and the other API which the replacement for this is register for activity result, but unfortunately that can only be used inside an Android activity or an Android fragment. As far as I know, we can't directly use it in Godot Android plugin. So I don't know how to really use this with Godot Android plugin. That's why I'm still using the deprecated one. Hopefully this does not break in future Android versions, at least not anytime soon, or at least the Godot Android plugin finds a way to use register for activity results somehow. So that's why I'm passing this phone hint request. Okay, and here you can see once the user clicks on a particular phone number from that modal pop-up which I had blurred in the output, you will so we are passing this phone hint request, right? And if the result is okay, we will actually get the phone number, and I'm sending the phone number again back to Godot side. Now this is the method for requesting OTP. It takes a phone number, so I'm sending again the phone number back from Godot side, and here I'm calling the API. Now if you want, you can use that value which we get from the API as well. And here, as you can see, I'm starting the SMS Retriever to start listening for messages. Typically I won't suggest you to wait for the API success message and then start. You should immediately start it, because what can happen is, as soon as you get the API response, you can get the message from Twilio or whatever service you are using even before you get the response from your API. That could happen, a race condition like that. That's why I'm not using this. That's why I've commented it out. So I will leave it up to you. Basically I would say is that as soon as you call the API, immediately call this. So this will start listening for messages, and indirectly this will call the service, my SMS broadcast receiver service. Okay, and this success and failure listener, I'm just displaying a toast message. This is again just part of my debugging. If you want, you can remove it. Like I said, timeout is 5 minutes. This is for verifying OTP. It takes the phone number as well as the OTP. Again, here we are calling the API verify OTP, and I'm just printing it to the console. Sorry, displaying it inside a toast message as well as sending it back to Godot side. I'm not really using this on the Godot side, but yeah, feel free to use it however you feel like. And this is the method to extract OTP from message. So I'm just looking for a 6-digit number, but in your case you might get a 4-digit OTP or a 5-digit OTP. So make sure you change the regular expression to your use case. And here we observe the SMS message. So once the data in this particular preferences data store get changed from our broadcast receiver, we are observing it, right? So in case if you forgot, quickly show it to you. So here we were observing it, and again we send the OTP back to Godot side. Okay, so that's it for the Android part. Next you will have to go to manifest, android manifest.xml. Firstly you will have to add this internet permission, because I'm making API call. Then you will have to add this application tag. Now given that my Node.js backend is hosted locally and it is on HTTP, I need to use this uses clear text traffic equal to true. If you are using HTTPS and deployed it to some cloud provider, you don't need to use this. Next, I have just copied this from documentation, but here this should be your plugin name. In case if you forgot, here you can see this is your plugin name. Whatever you have entered, write it over here as well. And this should be your package name. Again, if you forgot, scroll up. Here you can see this is your package name. So write it over here, and this is the file name. Now we also need to register our SMS broadcast receiver. So I have written the code for it as well. So whatever file name you have given it over here, make sure you use it over here as well, and this will remain same for everyone. Okay, next you will have to go to project drop down, and inside your library create a folder called export scripts template. Inside that create export_plugin.gd. Again, I have copy pasted this from the documentation. Only thing which you have to be careful about, this should be your plugin name. And the next thing is, again I'll scroll down, we apart from the Godot Android dependency which we have added inside our build.gradle file, we need to write all the dependencies which we have added inside our build.gradle file. So this is the gameplay services auth. Make sure you use the same version what you have defined it inside our libs.versions.toml file. So here you can see all the versions, right? So this is the game play services auth, then auth API phone. Okay, this is retrofit, this is retrofit converter JSON. This is for app compat. I don't think we need this, but yeah, anyways I have added it in case like if you're struggling where did I get this app compat from. Again, this was just part of my debugging. If you want to know, here you can see the app compat is already added for us, so you can just add it. Whatever is the version you see over here, make sure you add it over here as well. And this is the preferences data store dependency. Okay, same thing I have written it for over here as well. So all these dependencies, same thing. Okay, so hopefully you got the point. Next we have created another file called plugin.cfg. again I have copy pasted this from docs. Only thing which you have to remember is this should be your plugin name. Okay, once that is done, let me again quickly check my documentation. Just scroll over here. So we are done with this, done. Okay, next you will have to go to your Android. Okay, so as you can see, this is my Android folder, Android project, right? So just cd to your Android project inside your terminal, so like I have done, and then you will have to run this particular command /gradle assemble. I have already run this command. So once you run this particular command, again this will take little bit of time, so be patient. Then once that is done, go to your Android project, go to your library, build, outputs, AR, and here you should see these two AR files being generated. Next you will have to create a Godot project, so just create a Godot project. Okay, then go to project, install Android build template. I have already done it, but if you are doing this for the very first time, you might have to download it. Again, the download will take little bit of time, and then you will have to install it. It's pretty simple. You will see all the proper buttons for it. Then you will have to go to project, export, click add Android. I have already added it. Then check this use Gradle build option. Also, I am running on this particular architecture of my Android device. If you don't know what your architecture of your Android device is, select all 4 of this. Then you will have to create a folder called add-ons. Then inside add-ons, create a folder with your own plugin name. So my plugin name was just my plugin, and inside that create a folder called bin. Inside bin, create 2 folders, debug as well as release. Okay, now if you remember, we had created these 2 files, right? Export plugin.jd and plugin.cfg inside our Android project. So if I just show it to you, here you can see these are the 2 files. So this is my Godot project. Okay, so here you can see inside our Godot, so this is my Godot project. Okay, so inside add-ons, go to your plugin. You will have to copy paste these 2 files inside your plugin folder. Okay, then go to bin, go to debug, and here inside your Android project you will have to go to again my library, build, outputs, AR, and here you will have to copy this debug file to the debug folder, but you will have to change the name to whatever is your plugin name, -debug.ar. Similarly for release as well, you will have to copy paste it, whatever is your plugin name, -release.ar. So I have already done it. Then you will have to go to project settings, go to plugins, project settings, yeah, correct, sorry, plugins, and you will make sure you check this checkbox as well. Also inside window, I am using portrait, so if you want to do this, you can do it. Width and height I have changed, and here I have changed the orientation as well. Next, if you see the code, like inside the UI, I have taken a node 2D. I have taken one label, so this will display my hash. Again, this is only for debugging. Do not display your hash inside a production app. So this is the line edit. Again, I took line edit because I want to hide my mobile number from you guys. And if you see, there is this secret option for line edit, but you should know, you should take a normal text edit. Okay, and here that's why I've checked it. And here is our button for getting the OTP. The second one is for automatically filling of OTP, and the second button is for verifying the OTP. Attach one script to it as well. And here you can see, firstly I got reference to our label, line edit as well as text edit. Then this is our plugin name, this is our Android plugin, and inside ready we are initializing our plugin, as well as we are connecting all the signals as well which I had. And if you see, as soon as our plugin is ready, I am calling the get user phone number, so it will automatically display that modal pop-up which I had blurred in the output, so that the user can automatically pick the mobile number. Okay, and one more thing is, if you see our Android code inside Godot Android plugin, this also gets called on Godot setup completed as soon as you initialize the plugin. So you will immediately get your app hash as well inside your label. So once you get your app hash, your like what could happen is that make sure before running this, okay, I'll show you the code in a bit, but before running your Godot project, you start your server. I know you don't know the app hash, that's fine, just run npm run dev inside your terminal and it will start the server. Because what could happen is that if you run your app even before starting your server, your app might crash, because we are initializing the retrofit part as soon as our plugin is loaded, right? So it won't find that base URL, so your app might crash. So firstly, as soon as first run your backend using npm run dev, run your Godot application. Once you get the app hash, copy the app hash inside the node.js code which I have just shown you inside index.js over here as well as over here. Then you can just do Ctrl+C again inside your terminal to close your server and just run npm run dev, and make sure you run your app again, okay, because the connection might get lost for your app because our server went down. So here you can see this is the first button press where I have called this request OTP, and I am passing whatever has been whatever is the mobile number filled inside our line edit. On second button we are passing the mobile number as well as the OTP, and here are all the signals. So on user phone number signal we are just populating our line edit, OTP signal we populate our OTP, and a verify signal I am not really doing anything, but you can do whatever you feel like. And this is for our app hash signal. Again, I am mentioning app hash is only for our purposes, don't ship it in production. Also be careful with this app hash. I think when you create a production build, I'm not sure if it will give you the same hash, or I think it will give you a different hash. So maybe you can try I think you can try looking into this again, this particular commands again. So this particular command again, so yeah, be careful with that as well. Hopefully I think that should be it. Let me quickly check. Yeah, we have done this, done this like previously in previous version of Godot. We had to set this debug key as well as Android SDK path. I think now it is picking up automatically. I'm not really sure, I didn't have to set it up for Godot 4.3.0. yeah. Okay, so again I know this was a long tutorial, but I will quickly show you guys all the code. Hopefully I haven't missed anything. So firstly we created our backend, right, and inside that we had this package.json with all this dependency and with this scripts as well. This is how we get the all the API keys which I have told you. This is for account SID, this is for our API key as well as secret, and this is for our verification service ID. Use any one of this. Then I copied this from the documentation, but I changed few of the code, like this v2 part was missing because the original code was still using a lot older code and there was no new pull request being merged, that's why. And here also v2, here also v2. So make sure I like I showed you this code, right? Then inside index.js we had created our express, we got all the APIs, right? So yeah, then we were calling all the APIs. This app hash, again be careful with this app hash, this might trip few people up. This is one of the API endpoint, and yeah, here we were starting our server. So hopefully you got till here. Then coming back to Android, created an Android project, created this library. This is our Android manifest code, okay. Then we defined this request, then we defined this verify request as well. Then this was the response, okay. Then this verify response as well. Then this is the app signature helper which I have just copy pasted it from the documentation itself. so I don't have to worry too much about it. Then here is our Godot Android plugin code, which I will again scroll down slowly. So in case if you have missed it, you can just copy paste all this code which I have. Okay, then here is our SMS OTP service for our retrofit part, and this is our broadcast receiver which keeps listening for messages. Okay, then also inside build.gradle we added all these dependencies, right? And we added the actual version number over here. So check all this stuff, as well as you can check all this stuff. So here you can see this is the entire line. Okay, also what else? Okay, we also went to the project drop down, we added this folder directory, and we added these two files that also I shown you guys. So this, and here is the entire line of dependencies which you need to add. Okay, then again we created this particular file as well, so hopefully you got that. Then we just created the ran this command ./gradle wassemble. It created that 2 AR file for us. Then we created our Godot project. We click on project, install the build template, clicked on the export to add Android. Then we created all this folder structure, add-ons, plugin, bin. Inside plugin, sorry, we copied these two files, and inside bin we created debug and release. We pasted the debug AR file to the debug folder, changed the name to our plugin name, same for release as well. And also yeah, one more thing, if once you click on project export, add the Android, you might see an fix error button at the bottom. Just click on it, hopefully you have already clicked it. And here this is our UI, right? And this is the entire code for it. So hopefully I didn't forgot anything. In case if you do have any confusion, do let me know in the comments, and I'll try my best to help you guys out. Yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.